Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Are we in a good mood? Are we full of energy? Are we focused? If not, I have these three little sachets that you should be using. My name is Reinder Limburg. I'm the Director of Sales and Strategy for ASEA in Europe, and it is my great pleasure to announce the speaker of this breakout session at Wiens. In, in, In pursuit of a career that fit his personal mission and ministry, at Wiens came to multi-level marketing early in his life. Today, he and his wife Rebecca have embraced ASEA Next Level Marketing, where they can work diligently and devotedly for the spiritual and physical well-being of all they meet. Now, health-promoting products, financial abundance, and an ability to serve others mark their long-standing success story. Please help me welcome Ambassador Double Diamond Executive at Wiens. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you, thank you. I got to learn to say ASEA. Like, that sounds kind of cool. So he was asking me earlier about how to introduce me. I said, just make up some stuff. Make up, Olympic gold medalist, Nobel Prize winner. I did that one time for a guy, one of a corporate speaker, and I called him, an astronaut. And the next event, he came out in a spacesuit in reference to that. So it's a pleasure to be here. I wonder if I could just get an empty chair up here so I could just put my bottle of water on it. Can you just somebody wants to stand up here and hold it like the Statue of Liberty or something. Thank you so much. That'd be just right over there. It'd be good. That way I can just kind of wander over there and do that once in a while. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be at this event. I know you could be learning about skincare someplace else, and I'm not sure what else is being offered, but you're here, I'm here, and let's spend a few minutes together. How many of you, this is your first ASEA convention? Fantastic. My first one was a memorable occasion as well. Mal Sword said something earlier today. He said that many of you are going to find at this event that you will make a decision. This will be an inflection point, and I thought that was a great tee-up for what I want to share with you today about just that, making a decision. Now, he mentioned in the intro that I started out my early in life. I came across network marketing. Let me tell you how early that was. I was a missionary's kid. I was born in Alaska before it was a state. How many of you know when Alaska became a state? What year? No? 59. Who said 59? 59, right here. So I was born before that. Just put that in context. And so my parents are both Idaho natives. And so between their missionary work in Alaska and South America, we lived in Idaho for 3 years. And we attended a church pastored by a guy named Emmanuel Rohn, R-O-H-N. He had a son named Jim. Okay? Once in a while when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, I would meet the pastor's son, and all I knew was he was real rich and sold vitamins. He was a pioneer of the network marketing industry. Of course, later on I learned who he was, met him and so forth, but found out that back in the 40s, my dad and him as teenagers, sort of in the same area, in the same church circles, actually fished some of the local ponds and streams together. So I was exposed to network marketing early on, not knowing what it was. We went to South America, came back as a senior in high school. I walked into the garage of some of my parents' close friends, and there were products lying in the garage on these shelves. And I said, I knew he was a builder and a remodeler and real estate guy, and I said, Mr. Long, what is all this stuff? He said, these are products, and we sell these and earn commission. Well, that was kind of in my DNA. My first paid job was selling boiled crab from door to door in Hoona, Alaska. My dad would catch them, Mom would boil them, and I would sell the crabs for 35 cents a piece for the big ones, 25 cents for the small ones. And then I sold newspapers on the street corner of Juneau, Alaska when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. So when he mentioned he earned commission from these products, I was intrigued. Then he said something magical to me. He said, and if we recruit other people to sell these products, we make money when they sell them. I said, you've got to be kidding me. There's a concept that exists like that? So I was just kind of teed up, I guess, to be introduced to network marketing early on in my life. And I think there is something to the law of attraction. When you think about something, it sort of comes to you. I had other stories where I was introduced to network marketing way back before it was even legalized, and those were stories that thankfully I didn't pursue. But at some point, I made a decision, and that decision was key. And what I want to just say here today, there's no question about we have an unbelievable product. Many of you, in fact, let me just ask a show of hands. How many of you, your initial attraction to network marketing was the product? Or to ASEA specifically was the product? You came in through the product door. Legit, we have a great product. It's without peer in the world, let alone in our industry. So there's no question about the fact that that's a legitimate, honorable way to be attracted into this business called ASEA. But I want to take your attention today, if I can, and shift it a little bit from a product-centric focus to a business focus. We're on a mission. We're on a big mission. Virtus set this course with a goal in mind to achieve worldwide distribution of this product. And he embraced strategically and intentionally the network marketing business model, because that's the only way this product is going to penetrate the markets of the world. So with all due respect to the product and how amazing it is and how life-changing it is, how impactful it is, until you shift your focus and embrace the business model, not only will you never achieve your goals individually, but we will never accomplish what this mission is corporately. Now, I come from a church background. I spent 20 years in full-time ministry. And the church I grew up in, if you liked what the preacher said, you could say amen out loud. Vigorously, if you wanted to. So sometimes I need a little feedback. If I hit the right note, I might just need a little feedback, okay? I didn't grow up in the church of the chosen frozen. So you can just kind of encourage me along here. It helps me out. Okay, all right. So I get some notes to refer to here once in a while. We will only achieve our mission through the full deployment and the leverage of the business model. And until you individually embrace that, you will never reach as many people and never earn what you potentially could earn. Now, I'm married to a wonderful lady right here on the front row named Rebecca. She's a nurse. So she's a health professional. Many of are in this business. And I think sometimes you folks, you have what I call a heal the world syndrome. It's a noble thing. It's a worthy motivation. My contention is that until you embrace the business distribution model of this, you will have some limitation on how far your heal the world syndrome can go. Okay. You only know so many people. And so it's the word of mouth ripple effect that's going to impact the most people, heal the most people, not to uncompliantly use that word, or it will limit how much you can possibly earn from the business model. So I'm going to shift you today, hopefully, to the decision to embrace the business model. And let me say this. To fully embrace the business side of ASEA, it requires a decision, a committed decision. Now, there are a lot of things you'll be able to learn this week, yesterday, today, tomorrow, that will be some of the implementable steps, the A, B's, and C's, the 1, 2, 3s of the business. Those are all great. You need to listen to those. What I'm talking about today, in my opinion, is the preface to all of those sequential steps, because it starts with a decision. Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why. Start with why. Don't get started and figure out, gee, why am I doing this? Start with that. And all the other steps follow that decision. And let me just tell you, your next rank, your next income level, the fulfillment of your dreams that you want to see accomplished lies on the other side of a decision. The other side of a decision. Not a decision based on all the technical knowledge, not a decision based on, you know what, I got a PowerPoint I'm supposed to be doing here. Hang on a second. I read a book one time. It said, real leaders don't use PowerPoints. There you go. Okay, there he is. Okay. And there we go. That's the topic. I'll try to remember to do this once in a while. We have a compelling product line. Agreed? Okay. We have a business model that is just as compelling. Agreed? Individuals who embrace the ASEA business are the key to achieving our vision of worldwide distribution. I've already talked about that. We only achieve it if we put our potential in the business. You'll reach more people faster. You'll earn more for your efforts. With the business model, requires a decision. Here's my point. Your next rank, your next income level is on the other side of the decision. And it's a decision without knowing all of the details on how to get there. Without knowing all the steps, without knowing all the ABCs. Some of you are technical and you want to have the whole bridge built before you take the first step. I got news for you. It's not going to work that way. You're going to look across and you're going to see something and you can say, I'm going to get there, and then you begin taking the steps. I love this quote. This is a quote by a Scottish mountaineer named Murray. And I'm going to read this quote slowly. And I want you to contemplate the phraseology here and the words in this quote. We're going to come back to it. To use a popular word, we're going to circle back to it. Okay? But I want you to pay attention to the wording of this, because it's a powerful, powerful principle here that it's easy just to skim over, and let's read it slowly. And I love the fact that he was a mountaineer, because our whole career track in this business is patterned after climbing a mountain. That's why when you get to the diamond level, it's called the diamond summit. All right, so many of you here are not yet diamond. In fact, how many of you here are not yet diamond? How many of you aspire to be at the diamond level? Okay, so listen to this quote. Until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one commits oneself, then providence moves too. Let me back up and just read that part. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. God can't steer a parked car. When you begin to commit, then providence moves. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Okay? That's a powerful, powerful statement. Powerful statement. I can't tell you how many times, in fact, Rebecca and I pray a prayer frequently. We just say, God, listen, we don't have time to waste. We don't have energy to waste on this project. If this is something that we're supposed to be a part of, we need your hand of blessing on it and confirmation on it now and continually, and bring across our path people who need to know what we've been blessed to discover. We'll be watching for them. We'll be vigilant, and when the opportunity arises, we will take action. We say that frequently, don't we? And I can't tell you how many different times people have crossed our path in fact, is Mike Beverly in here? I don't know if Mike's here. Mike Beverly in here? Okay. Mike and I had never met. We were in a men mastermind study for a year, sponsored by an author and a speaker in 2020. And we met on a Zoom every couple of weeks. And I heard on one of the Zooms, because he wasn't there, somebody said he was in the hospital. I made myself a little mental note. I knew he had a network marketing background. We had, of course, never met, never heard of each other. And when later on, he was on a Zoom, and I found, made contact. Actually, before I made contact, another gentleman came by who actually knew him from a previous business opportunity. And we started talking about the people that he knew, and he mentioned Mike Beverly. I thought, well, there can't be that many Mike Beverleys. I found out it was the same guy. He said, let's get some product to him. Got product to him, changed his life. He's a new gold here today, and he's got a team that's building. So I didn't know that would happen when I got in that men's mastermind group. But when you just put yourself out with that attitude of expectancy, opportunities come along that no man could dream would come his way, like this quote here. So, let's talk about why don't we make the decision? What holds us back? Why don't we commit? Why don't we make the decision? I think I've identified several things that I think are pretty common denominators between people who just can't seem to decide. I struggle with some of them. I have a timekeeper in here someplace. Where am I supposed to? I need to know where not to look. Okay. Little kid said to his mom in church, "What does it mean when the preacher says in closing?" She says, "Absolutely nothing." So I'm going to try to be honorable here anyway. So why don't we make the decision? All right, here's one reason. Just too much work. Too much work. I mean, I could do it. I could go diamond. I just don't want to work that hard. I don't want to sweat that much. Just too much work involved. Well, let me ask you a question. How hard do you think the diamonds work? Just how, get up close to them. See if they got bloody knuckles. See if they got any bruises from getting banged against whatever, you know. Yeah, there's work. This is network marketing. I'm never going to imply that this is net luck marketing. Never. This is not net roll the dice. This is not net lottery. This is a work-oriented endeavor, no question about it. But when it comes to work, let me just say this. You're going to work hard in life anyway. Whatever you pursue, you're going to work. You're going to work hard anyway. That's what I had to come to grips with. I was working a lot of hours. We'll talk about the time factor in just a minute. But how much work is it? Well, I just realized this, that if I don't do this business, this is back prior to my ASEA days. This is when I was looking at the whole network marketing venture. I mean, I had 4 kids, all the ball games, the commitments, the limitations, working 50, 60 hours a week. I didn't know if I could put out that much more effort, but I realized, even given, in fact, some people will say, why would you have left ministry to get into business? Let me just tell you, I didn't leave it. I just changed the way I get paid to do it. Okay? We'll talk about that sometime. But I realized this, I was going to work just as hard if I didn't do this business as if I did. So why not do the work? Why not do the work? If you're young here today, just know that if you're going to embark on a career track that's going to lead you there, you're going to work. You're going to work hard for somebody else. You're going to build somebody else's dream house. You're going to take somebody else's family on vacation. They're going to tell you how much you're worth, how much time you have to put in to get it. You're going to work anyway. Can I get an amen on that? In fact, my contention is this. You're going to work harder if you don't go diamond than if you do. So do the work. Just roll up your sleeves and do the work. Now, let me just go back to that image a second. I'll show you this image again in a minute, but the quote by the mountaineer. When I first got around this profession, I was considering it very seriously as a career. I looked up at the summit of Diamond. That company had a diamond level as well. And guess what? There were people there. There were people standing on that summit. And I got around them, and they were real, common people, just genuine people. In fact, if you get around a little bit now, some of the diamonds, you're going to find out we're a mixed bag. We're old and we're young, we're male, we're female. I won't say any more about that. We're single, we're married, highly educated, not very educated. We got Bible thumpers. We have heathens. We're just a mixed bag. You know what the only common denominator is between all the folks at the diamond level? Is they stood down here at the bottom and looked up and says, I'm going to get there. Don't know how, don't know when, but I'm going to stand on that summit. That decision is what took them there. So, you're going to work hard anyway. Can I get an amen on that? I love this quote. It says, don't ask for the mountain to be easier to climb. Jim Rohn said this. Just seek to be a better climber. Don't ask for the mountain to be easy to climb. just seek to be a better climber. I looked at it this way. I never wanted to know that success had to come easy. I just wanted it to be possible and worth the effort. Don't ask for success to be easy, just possible and worth it. So here's another reason. Too much time. I don't have time. I mean, I just don't have time. I just can't fit this in. Well, breaking news. Nobody has any more time than anybody else. You're allotted the same number of minutes, hours, and days as anybody else. It's a matter of allocation. It's a matter of how you choose to spend the time. Listen, get close to Debbie Wetzler and find out about a gal who's working hard to keep from losing her home and working as a waitress, and she only had 20-minute breaks. And that's when she made her phone calls. 20-minute breaks, she'd make her phone calls. Today, she could buy the restaurant. She won't. She doesn't want the headache. How much time does it take? Who knows? People come into this with different skill sets, with different levels of equity when it comes to people, monetary, time of it. Some of you are retired. Some of you are working and juggling multiple jobs. Again, I looked at this. I had no free time. I didn't have a free night of the week. But I thought if I just keep doing that, 5 more years will go by, I'm still going to be doing it. And so I learned and I embraced the concept of time leverage. When you you may be the busiest person in this room. When you understand the principle of time leverage, you will appreciate what this business can deliver, where you can leverage minutes and get back days, hours. Leverage days and get back months. Put in some time and get back your life. I can tell you, Rebecca enjoys probably that is the most valuable commodity of this business is the free time. She doesn't have to worry about scheduling to get off for a grandkids' Christmas program or a ball game or something. She doesn't have to worry about juggling that in and wearing her body out working 12-hour shifts. Time leverage. Learn to embrace the multiplication factor here of time. You have the time to build this business. Let me say that again. You have enough time to build this. Okay? Don't think that you can't because you're too busy. Just learn time leverage. All right. How much time does it take to be a diamond? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. We were going through a huge transition in the church organization I was a part of when I first got into network marketing. And it was a challenging time for that organization. And we adopted a theme. We had banners, we had mugs, we had T-shirts. And the slogan was, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And I have adopted that at numerous times in my life, just whatever it takes. Don't negotiate how much time it takes. It takes whatever it takes because the summit's worth standing on. It's worth getting there. Can I get an amen? All right? It's worth it. The Bible says in Proverbs 22:13, the lazy man is full of excuses. There's your scripture for the day. The lazy man is full of excuses. You know, if you were offered a free trip today, around the world trip or whatever, most of you would figure out how to take the time to go on that trip. All right, here's another one. How am I doing on time? Where's my timekeeper? Okay, good. Too much crow to eat. I just don't know if I could take the criticism. I don't know if I could withstand the skepticism. I don't want to have to go to the next family reunion and hear my brother-in-law say, you got into what? You're selling what from where? You're selling salt water from Salt Lake City? I don't want to be laughed at by my peers. I don't want my doctor to kind of look down his nose at me and be skeptical of what I think I've learned that he's never heard of. Too much crow to eat. Well, here's the problem. Here's how I dealt with that. And, you know, network marketing's gone through some interesting chapters of its history. And I can tell you, back in the 70s and 80s, it was still a challenging time, even for our industry. But when I figured out that the too much crow to eat thing was really a pride issue, then I had a real conflict. Because then I had to do it because I couldn't deal with the guilt of hiding behind pride. you can only handle so much guilt in your life. And so it was going to be more guilty. I was going to be more guilty to not build it than to go ahead and build it. Does that make sense to you? So it was just too much. I just thought, let's just go ahead and eat the crow. So let me just tell you, if you're worried about that, you're going to eat crow anyway. You're going to eat crow in life. You're going to work a job someplace, and they're going to come in and make a decision that maybe demotes you, cuts down your territory, expands your quota, and you're just going to have to say, sure, I wish I'd have thought of that, because they lord it over you. You're going to eat crow in life anyway. So why not eat some to build this business? Eat some crow to take your family on a vacation rather than just send somebody else's. And if you're skeptical today of network marketing in the 2020s, then I'm going to tell you, you're just stockpiling a big banquet of crow. You're going to have to choke down one of these days, because this business is legit. This industry is the most, in my opinion, it's the most noble way you can earn an income. You earn it at the service of other people. I love what Zig Ziglar taught us. If you help enough people in this life get what they want, they can have anything, you can have anything that you want. That's what this business is based on. So you're going to eat crow anyway. Why not eat some to build your dreams? Okay. By the time, when you leave your job, if you get gone for whatever reason, in just a matter of weeks, it's going to be like you were never there. They're going to paint over your spot in the parking lot. They're going to change the sign in the hallway. And you're going to be, it's just like you never even existed. And somebody's going to say, whatever happened to old Chuck? Oh, he's selling salt water from Salt Lake City somewhere. I don't know. They have no idea how much eating crow has changed that man's life right there. My sponsor, Chuck Gates. Yeah. So eat some crow for your family. I love where this business has grown to today. This profession is just unbelievably more credible than it ever had been. And I tell you, with what we've seen over the last couple of years, there's nothing more suitable to face the future in than a network marketing profession, in my opinion. I mean, that's absolutely what I believe. So, you have to give up too much. I could go diamond, but I just can't, I don't know, I just have to give up. I bowl a couple nights a week. I play softball, I just go hang out with the guys every time after work. I just can't give it all up. Priorities. But let me say it this way. ASEA may not be your dream. You know what? And that's okay. But let me tell you, this business model can deliver to you the resources to pursue your dream. I don't care what it is, because to pursue your dream likely has a price tag attached to it, and it requires some sort of a time involvement. I don't care if it's save the whales, if it's nuke the whales. It's just, you've got a dream, a project that you want to be a part of. If you have, what would it be like? Imagine yourself, if you could jump up on stage at a convention and say, my husband and I are going to match your contribution up to $50,000. Would you like to be able to do that? I knew Denny and Trish prior to ASEA. Trish and I were actually pictured on the page of a magazine in 1994 at a gold level of a company. There's no way she could have ever wrapped her mind around the ability to jump on a stage and offer a $50,000 contribution. And I would say that at some point in life, selling salty water wasn't necessarily on her dream list. But she became a fan and a devotee to network marketing, and today that has delivered to her the ability to do what you just saw her do. What would you like to do? What kind of a cause would you like to get involved in? What kind of a mission would crank your tractor, like we say in Idaho? What would motivate you? What would make you feel worthwhile? What would you like to tell your grandkids that you've been able to accomplish? Build this business. Build it. It will deliver to you time freedom, monetary resource, you can channel that wherever you want to channel that. Rebecca and I have some of our favorite projects. I grew up as a missionary's kid. I know what it's like to live in a home that's stressed with finances and stressed with the responsibilities of the kind of tasks that they were faced with all the time and the needs. I know what it's like to grow up in a town, in a city, where you've gone through a revolution and Yankee Go Home is painted on the walls and you walk down the street and you're spit at and there's tanks. And I know what it's like to live in a stressful environment like that. So today, Rebecca and I get to go on missionary getaways where we help sponsor, with an organization I'm a part of, we help sponsor retreats for missionaries. We go to exotic places. We've been to Poland. We've been to Greece. We were going to go to Vietnam. It was canceled because of COVID. We're going to go back there. And we just tell, through the organization, we tell missionaries within any part of that region, all you have to do is get there. We take care of your accommodations. We take care of your meals. We take a team of doctors, chiropractors, nurses, massage therapists, counselors, financial planners, attorneys, babysitters, and you take 4 or 5 days off from the front lines of your work. Let us just take care of you. Chick-fil-A's even come on board and said, we're going to give you this amount of money just to give everybody a massage while they're there. Rebecca's been able to sit down and counsel with some missionaries who are stressed to the max and have nobody to talk to. They can sit down and open up their heart and open up their life to somebody who cares. It takes money to do those things. Some of you would like to go on a trip. How many of you would like to go on a getaway like that as a volunteer? Maybe it's just to carry luggage and just to show hospitality. We're gonna sponsor one of these days. It's gonna be all ASEA team members going. When we went to Greece, we had 200 missionaries from 30 different organizations that were there, and we got a chance just to take care of them. I tell you what, when we're able to do something like that, I don't care that I ate a little bit of crow. I don't care that I had to withstand some scrutiny, and I don't care that somebody turned up their nose and said, you're in network marketing. I feel good about the success that we've been able to enjoy because we just look at it as stewardship anyway. We're just a flow through. We're just a pass through. We know where it came from, and we just need to go someplace. And along the way, we don't mind upgrading a few things, house and car and so forth. We don't mind doing that, but it's just we're just stewards. So you don't have to give up. You may have to give up some things in the short run, but let me tell you what you're able to do when you build this business to the diamond level and beyond. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Is it right? Oh man. This was a struggle for me early on. When you grow up in sort of the religious world, sometimes you look at something like network marketing, and of course some of the early versions of this industry were tacky and just glitzy and glamorous, and all it was about lifestyle and opulence and luxury, and I understand the distastefulness. I appreciate the fact that this company is not glitzy, but it's classy. Amen. They do things right. But let me tell you, there's some people who are going to struggle with the morality of becoming wealthy or becoming wealthier. It's the morality of it. That was a bit of a struggle for me because you just kind of buy into the notion that there's something dirty about money. You know what? The scripture's been sometimes misquoted. Money's not the root of all evil. It's the love of it. And when you appreciate that it's just a resource that allows you in this world to go and to do and to buy, it just becomes a tool. It becomes a tool. In the hands of good people, it does good things. In the hands of people with lesser values, it can be destructive. In your hands, let me tell you, I've been around the culture of this company. By and large, you're the kind of person that if this business should dump a boatload of resources into your lap, you'll do good things with it. And why not you? Why should it be the drug dealers of your community that have so much wealth to burn? Why not you? You'll do good things with it. Let me tell you something. There is nothing in the teachings of the Old Testament law or the teachings of Christ that has any conflict with you becoming well off financially. Nothing. It's not there. It's not there. You've all heard the story of the Good Samaritan. Let me tell you something. If the Good Samaritan And for those of you that may not know the story, this gentleman comes along, and here's a Samaritan that's been beaten and laying wounded on the side of the, and there was a class distinction. There was racism going on. And the gentleman that found him wasn't of the same culture, but he picked him up and he dropped him off at a place where he could be taken care of. And he said, listen, patch him up, take care of his wounds, meet all of his needs, and when I come back, if you're owed anymore, I'll take care of it then. That's the Good Samaritan story. And let me tell you, if he had not had financial resources and only had compassion, we would have never heard the story. Never heard the story. So don't apologize for the resources that can flow into your life, because it's right. It's right. Joseph is one of the great dreamers of history. I love the story of Joseph. Somehow some dream mechanism got churned up in his young life, and he just had the capacity to think big. And his brothers hated him for it. There's a parallel. Your family's not always on board with your dream. His brothers came and he said, listen, I had the greatest dream last night. He says, I dreamed that all of your haystacks bowed down to my haystack, and that all of your stars bowed down to my star. Well, that didn't set so well. So the next chance they had, they were out in the boondocks someplace, and along came a caravan to Egypt. They said, listen, here's our chance to get rid of the dreamer. They ripped his coat off his dad had made for him. They killed a lamb, put blood all over the coat, and threw him in a pit. And then, of course, when the caravan came, I said, hey, we could maybe make some money out of it. They drug him out of the pit and sold him to the Egyptian caravan, took the coat back to the dad. I'm so sorry, Dad. Your favorite son, Joseph, has been killed. Here's his coat. I'm sorry he got mauled by a wild animal. Of course, it was heartbreak. Joseph still believed his dream. He goes to Egypt. He becomes a servant in the household of Potiphar. He becomes attempted to be seduced by, well, there's a timer right there. Okay, we're good. Potiphar's wife attempts to seduce him. He wrinkles out of his coat, escapes her. The husband comes home and she accuses him of rape. He gets thrown in prison. He languishes in prison, still believing his dream. Never gave up on it. A couple other prisoners had dreams. They couldn't figure out what they were. Joseph gave them some insight. They got released, and pretty soon the ruler of the land had a dream. Nobody could figure it out. All right, I guess I don't need those. Nobody could figure it out. And they said, well, there's a guy down in prison named Joseph. Man, he's got some insight. Maybe he can figure out your dream. They hauled him out. He went before the ruler and interpreted the dream, gave them forewarning about coming famine. They were able to store up their resources in the land, and they had abundance when the rest of the world was starving, and all the neighboring countries came and were getting resources from Egypt. Guess who was in charge of all of the affairs? Thank you, Dr. Michael. You're a servant's heart, my friend. Thank you. Dr. Michael, right there. Not only my doctor, he's my note picker-upper. So the neighboring, Joseph's in charge now. He's been such a perfect example of servitude. He's now in charge, second in command basically in the country. So all the neighboring countries are coming to buy resources from Egypt because they had the foresight to store them up. And guess who comes to buy grain? Joseph's brothers. Joseph's brothers. They didn't recognize him in all of his garb and regalia, and last they knew, they didn't know what happened to him. He recognized them and went and hid and wept his eyes out because he knew he could have had their heads on a platter. And he quizzed them a little bit about their family, their upbringing, because he knew he had a younger brother he had never heard more about. Long story short, they come in back to before him, and he reveals to them who he is. It's a great story here. And they were scared. Should have been. He forgave them. Here's the lesson. He said, you know what? God, you meant it to me for evil, but God meant it to me for good. You will go through times in your life where people will do things to you that you think that's rooted in their plan for evil for you, and God will turn around and use those circumstances for good. Okay? Joseph had the audacity to believe that the dreams of personal grandeur and the personal ambition and the dreams of greatness He believed that they were real, and he believed that they were right. And he hung on to that, and when there came a time for his own family suffering famine, he was able to be a giver of resources. Some of you have had dreams, you've had ambitions, and you've struggled with the reality of them, and you've struggled with the rightness of them. I'm telling you, dust them off. They're real, they're right, and the world deserves you to see them fulfilled. And when that happens, some folks will come to you for resources that you never dreamed. Don't rub their noses in it. That's not part of the spirit of Joseph. Just say, you know what? It's okay. Here, share. And that's a beautiful thing. So let me tell you, your ambitions, making it from where you are to the Diamond Summit, it's right for you. It's right for you. Let me touch on this one. Too old. I'm just too old. I'm done with my career, done it, I'm kind of hanging it up, I'm retirement age. Let me just hit that head on. How old was our founder, Vertus Norton, when he launched this company? 69. I just left that in the rearview mirror last year, okay? 69 years old. Could have comfortably coasted into what people would call retirement. I get asked all the time, can you retire from what you do? I say, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to look like. What would I stop doing that I currently now do? Would I stop traveling? Would I stop talking to people? Would I stop sharing? What would I stop doing? And they can't figure it out because retirement to them is all they've ever worked for. 30 years, 40 years, get a watch and a 401k and sit on the porch. And in fact, I met one guy recently and he had just retired. He says, I'm not doing anything. And in my heart, I didn't say anything. I just said, God, don't let me ever say that. Ever. Let me tell you, you are not too old. If you study the history of the whole retirement concept at 65, it was rooted in a German chancellor who was looking for a way to give a social security blanket to get his competition out of the industry. When you're 60, 65, how many of you are 60 plus? Let me see your hands, okay? We need to get some younger folks in, there's no question about it. But when you're 60 plus, you've got 40 years of experience and contacts and wisdom. You can leverage your effectiveness from here forward farther than you've ever been able to do up until now. I prayed God give us the spirit of Caleb in the Old Testament. Everybody else, all the other spies were scared to death. He said, give me this mountain. He was 80 years old. So let that spirit prevail. You are not too old to build this business. This mechanism of network marketing will condense your fruitfulness and your effectiveness down like nothing else could ever do. It's not like just putting another 2 to 5 years in a job. This is a leveraged mechanism that will make you more effective in every way. So you are not too old to build this business from wherever you are today to Diamond. Amen. Fear of the future. A lot of people today are scared. A lot of things to be afraid of if you're into fear. Fear is currency. Fear and faith are both currencies. They're just currencies of different economies. You know how many times throughout the whole Bible fear not's in there? Over 300 and some times. Basically, the message is if you're going to do business with me, if you're going to receive commodity in this kingdom, in this realm, you can't spend fear. Fear doesn't spend. Some of you have traveled internationally. When you go someplace, you've got to change your currency into the currency of the realm. You can't spend the wrong currency and get commodities or get resources if the currency doesn't match. So yeah, fear's out there. You know what the acronym FEAR is? False expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. I love Chuck's message today. What's right with this ship? If any place could have been the realm of fear, would have been that Apollo mission. There's a lot of things wrong, but let's talk about what's right. It's not hard today to get bombarded with fear messages, fear texts, and fear emails. It's everywhere, but that's the currency of the realm. That's the currency of where some people live. A lot of people live in the realm of fear and hatred. I just don't choose to dwell there. I choose to spend the currency of faith. optimism, belief in the future, belief in opportunity. I learned a quote one time. I'm not quite sure how scholarly it is, but it just makes sense to me. And it was, here was the quote. I see it, honey, thank you. That was my little timer back there. And here's the quote. Don't worry about the mule going blind, just keep loading the wagon. Don't worry about the mule going blind, just keep loading the wagon. I'm not quite sure what it means, but I think it kind of means don't ignore all the negative stuff that could possibly happen and just keep getting about the mission. So just ignore all the negative stuff out there and all the negative profiteering and all. Let's just keep loading the wagon. Keep bringing people on board here. Keep talking about what we've got. Keep making phone calls. Keep making Zoom calls. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. So don't let fear of the future intimidate you into not getting started. Fear is an awful intimidator. So, here's another truth. I don't care where you are today, what level you're at, what rank that you're at, there's a good chance that looking up at the summit of Diamond right now, let me assure you, there are people there. You saw them go across the stage today. They've already reached that summit. What you can't see is everything between where you are today and the summit. You'll never be able to see it all until you start the journey. There's obstacles, there's predators, there's who knows what. You can't see it all. But I'll tell you what you can see. You can look around and see that other people have gone before you. They've climbed the mountain. There's a pretty well-marked path to the summit from where you are to the top. Dr. Dick Walker's Triple Diamond. Dr. Dick Walker's a great guy, and he's an accomplished mountain climber. He's climbed some of the highest peaks in the world. And he talks about when you go to climb a peak, you typically look where people have gone before, and they put holes or whatever, they've marked the pathway. And so don't try to be the reinventor here and try to figure, I'm going to find a whole new path to this mountain. People have already gone up there, and they've marked the way. So you're not going to be the first to get there. In fact, the highest rank in this business has already been accomplished till they come up with something higher. And if a blonde housewife in Boise, Idaho, with a PhD and an MBA can get there, that's public high school diploma and massive bank account, by the way, you can get there. And Trish will want me to say that. It's not a knock on her. It's just saying if she can get there, you can get there. Just do the work. Dream it. Look around. There's a path marked before you. So, you will stand on that diamond summit. You will stand there. Whoop, let me go back. You will stand there. Okay, there's one missing. I'll fill it in for you. In fact, you probably can fill it in. You will stand on that pinnacle if you make the decision. If you make the decision. Doggone it, I'm going to stand on that mountain. I don't know what the work is yet. I don't know what the details are. I don't know all the steps involved, but I'm going to make a decision today, what is today? 22nd. April 22nd in Las Vegas, I made a decision that I was going to stand on the Diamond Summit. In fact, I remember Mike telling me when he says, there will never be another diamond dinner that I don't go to. That's a decision. So, we're going to circle back now to the quote. In fact, I want you to stand with me, okay? All preachers have people stand at the end. I'm not going to have an altar call today, and I'm not taking an offering. We took that earlier in there. We're going to read this quote together, and I want you to just contemplate every phrase, and I want you to say it to the depths of your bosom. You're going to say this with resolve. This is going to be a decision. This is D-Day for you. So I'm going to say it phrase by phrase and have you repeat. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy. The chance to draw back. Always ineffectiveness. concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would have never otherwise occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamt would come his way. Skip down to whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Make the decision. God bless you.